And today, well, I say, but it exposes your weaknesses when you abstain. I was leaving out the day, and my wife, she walks to the door. They kick her out her home, and so she walked me to the door. I'm like, man, I still feel like I'm forgetting something. I got my phone. She said, yeah, because you ain't got your coffee. I said, man. I said, Father, be with me today. All praises we made it through. So, family, welcome. We would say something like Kag, Yam, Kapar. Kag is a Hebrew word cognitive for gathering, really, because the Kag is the tent wall, and the GU sound, the God sound you hear is the foot. So we say Kag because we walk to a meeting house. So that's our word for feast. So we say Kag, Yam Kapar, happy day of Kapar, or Day of Atonement that the pagans turned it into. And I just this whole year, and I guess we're trying to find the positive in everything. A couple months ago, my hard drive, I had this big old book hard drive I bought from Best Buy, and they crashed it. I couldn't recover it. My little tech skills that I have, I couldn't recover my drive. It had all my ready-made notes for every feast was on there. I got resources that I downloaded for books and stuff. So this year I was, working. Those of you who's doing the work, y'all know it's when you get home, it's hard, and you really want to sit down and relax. And I got the dog to worry about. I got a honey-do list to do. So I said, babe, I got every feast saved on different drives except Atonement. I said, I don't have Atonement on any old drives. I didn't even have any old handouts. So I had to do Atonement from scratch again. But I barack y'all because as you do things over again, he just keeps giving fresh revelation. I'm like, man, so this year, as I'm doing the notes, and all praise, once I stopped complaining and got into my mode or work mode, it just started pouring. And I just kept seeing the Father's love. This atonement is all about the Father's love. It's like, man, man, y'all understand? Like, he wants you so bad, he's giving you a free pass, a free get out of jail card. The pagans who don't understand, the God of the Old Testament is mean, vengeful God. He's a God full of blood. He required that if you messed up. But him requiring that blood still was grace, because he could have told, there was one point when you disobeyed, you dropped. So him requiring these sacrifices and requiring blood is his love. Because, all y'all, we got different generations in here, but some of us grew up with James Evans dads. And James Evans type of dad, they don't smile. They don't crack a smile. They don't laugh. They tell you to do something, it's like, and you still there, it's like, why are you still standing here? And so the father is like, he's stern, but it got to a point where he's like, okay, Adam passed on these flaws to my people, so now let me show them some love. So the Christian church don't look at them sacrifices as love, but that was love. He could have just very well told Adam, because of you, either yay or nay. Everyone who transgressed, they're dropping. But he didn't do that. Every generation, he's looking for that seed, looking for that one who's going to be obedient. So this year, as I'm building these notes, I kept seeing the Father's love for his people, Father's love for his people. So always we want to give you the culture, so you guys understand what you're doing, what you're saying. We know we see what's going on in these Hebrew streets. It's a lot of mimicking, it's a lot of copying, it's a lot of pump faking, young people say. In a nutshell, it's a lot of people perpetrating the fraud, learning sounds, and now you building these fancy congregations, having all these huge gatherings, and you have no clue what you're really doing. It's just monkey see, monkey do. And I want to make sure you guys understand that the seriousness and the magnitude of this. So Yom Kippur, in the Hebrew, there's so many ways to run this. Even coming over here tonight, about to pull up, he dropped something in my head. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we would say kapar, and the pagans say atonement. When you check the lexicon, some of the definition words or synonyms they use, they say covering, to protect, so atonement, covering, to protect. In our language, we would say kapar, because the hand, with your hand, the Most High covers his people with just his hand. So the mouth represents a whole. So once we say this, your light bulbs are probably already going off. But the Father, the whole that we create with our sins, the Father covers that. So the rock represents the Most High. The Most High is covering the hole we're making. He's covered, or you could run the whole, the pie as, because your mouth encircles, the mouth represents being surrounded. So you can run it as the Most High is, his hand is surrounding his hand, with his hand, he's encircling his people. He's encircling his people. Then just coming over here, so let's get some script first. Let's go to Yashaya 43 for the first scriptural reference. And this is why the Christians, and I know we're here to magnify Yah, but we just gotta contrast Christianity. They don't understand this text at all because they don't understand this culture. But the scriptures, when we read these scriptures, it's going to validate this language. It's going to validate this dialect. So kapar, the hands covering the whole of man, the Father encircling his people. Let's read Yashaya or Isaiah chapter 43, verse 25. Shema, you have it? Wow.
Shema.
There you go. Isaiah 43 and verse 25. I didn't check into this Septuagint, so someone can double check the Septuagint. But these scriptures come alive, and this language just punctuates the Most High's prophecy and his promises. So it's like, we're not out here scoffing any other assembly. That's not what it's about. We thank the Most High for everybody waking up and trying to make sincere efforts, not the ones playing games and, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna worship like this. Nah, we don't want no parts of you. You go that way. But everyone who's sincerely trying to worship and gather, we barak you for that. But this dialect just unlocks the scrolls. Are we there? Read
Isaiah 43 and 25. I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake.
I, even I, am he who blots out your transgression for my sake. Y'all see Kapar there? Right. I'm blotting out your. So pretty much the Most High is at the chalkboard. Y'all know how y'all got all those X's. I know Zamaria, you probably had about 3 X's before 9 o'clock. And so the Most High is at the chalkboard like, I'm erasing all your strikes. And you glad because your mom just come to school. Like, whoa! The Most High says, I'm blotting out your transgressions. That's Kapar. Y'all see that? That's so much more. He forgives me. No, I see all your mess you're doing. I got the whole day every year, just be humble, come before me and confess it. I just wipe this. But Father, I stole. Father, I committed adultery. Father, I murdered a man. I know, son, but I see your heart. Y'all see how more powerful that is? Kapar. And then just on the way over here, I was like, Father, man, I tell the brothers all the time, you're never done until the Most High says you're done. Even tonight, sometimes he drops more stuff when I get home. Like, you could have given him this, you could have given him that. Man, like, I'm tired right now, Father. But on the way over here, I said, Father, you're too good to us. Because y'all know they said the Old Testament is done away with. All you need, the New Testament is revealed through the revelation of the Old Testament. Anyway, you see this language even in the so-called New Testament. Let's go to Yachanan chapter 20 and verse 27. Yakanan is Yah has been gracious, or Yah is grace. Yah has been gracious, Yakanan. Canaan is a form of grace. Yah Canaan, Yah has been gracious. John 20 and 27. Watch this. This is fresh off the press. He just gave it to me when I was on my way over here. Shemai, John 20 and 27. Chef is monitored. Those online, Chef is monitoring the chat, so he'll be there to see the comments. Yes. John 20, verse 27. Shemai, read.
Then said he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing.
Here's Hamashiach, Messiah, just rose from the dead. And y'all know the story. Mary got the report. She went back excited. I seen the master. I seen the teacher. Mary, you crazy. Grief got you stricken. We know he's gone. They buried him. So now he done ascended to heaven, because he told Mary what? Don't touch me, because I haven't been to the Father and your Father. So I gotta go be first fruits. I gotta go be the wave offering. So Mary, you can't touch me right now, but go tell my brothers I'm risen and I'm gonna meet y'all in Galilee. But right now I go to my Father and your Father. So he's telling Doubting Thomas, y'all heard the phrase Doubting Thomas, don't be a Doubting Thomas. Our world, our nation is controlling this world. Your language, your phrases come from our culture. So he's telling Thomas, because Thomas had just said, man, y'all know how Bruce talk. Man, listen, I ain't gonna believe till I see this brother's hands. Yahushua just appeared in the room. No one let him in. When y'all see this thing, it's gonna, no one opened the door. Oh. The Messiah just showed up. Here I am. And he said, Thomas, I just heard what you said. Thomas, touch my hand. Check my side out. So Kapar, the hole in his hand covered you and I. Kapar. His hand being pierced covered you and I, so we could be sitting here in 2023 in Greensboro saying, I'm an Israelite. I'm a by God, because he got pierced. Y'all see this?
Yeah.
So this language comes alive even in your so-called New Testament that y'all just want to run to the Greek and grab. Well, see, in the Greek, your Greek is garbage. His hand, Kapar, he got pierced because we had a hole in us, and his hand being pierced encircles us back to the Father. You see how many ways you can run this? If we was in church, we would have a praise break with A flat. This is powerful. This is who we are. So this is what we hear tonight, to give honor and glory to the Most High. Now we do everything by Hashem, by the blood name of His Son. Any comments or questions about this? You guys got to use the mic, because we're using a mic on this little webcam, and they won't be able to hear y'all.
As I see here, I know this is probably, well, it's my second one. I didn't really know what I was attending last year. And as we was coming up on the feast tonight, just looking at some script, and I was just trying, I think that's what you're doing for me now. But I think there's that, I guess my question is still some of that Christian church in me, some of the requirements of feast days that we do. And you look at the verbiage, even in the script, it was like forever. There's certain things that I found, it was like to do forever. But I was like trying to see when it comes to Yahushua's death, and we're still, what was I wrestling? I don't know how to pose the question. Just like, with his death, but we're still celebrating or recognizing the year that he gave a priest to go before us for all our sins for the year. But when we fast forward up to Yahushua's death, is it now just as a remembrance? It just was bloodshed for that? I mean, just trying to marry Yahushua to our annual thing we do as a feast.
I'm with you. I know where you're at. I'm going to reserve my comment until Naraya. Do we got another mic out there? I don't know why.
I'm not cold. That must sound like grandma, but you.
No, I'm with you. I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was talking to Ashiya about this because when we back in the land, when the Most High restores us to our rightful place, and we have all the world's riches and all of these things, you would think to yourself, like, why do we still need to fast for 24 hours? But what I was looking at, everything points back to the Most High. Yahweh Shai was our atonement. He deserves all the honor that the Most High is going to give him when that time comes. But even his life, death, resurrection, he even told you, this is also, you may believe on him that sent me. So Kapar represents the Most High, his hand blotting out the sins of man, using his son to do it. So all of this stuff is a memorial, it's a remembrance to remember the Most High. So even when we get all the riches, we get restored back to Yasha Allah, the mighty nation called by the Most High's name. We gonna fast for those 24 hours or from evening to evening to remember, hey, remember what you did to me and remember what I did for y'all in spite of. So it's like a humbling thing. And when you look at it, I was telling Shamar earlier, through the whole time, just like what Shamaria was saying, it's a mental thing. Your mind is playing tricks on you, the desire to want to drink, but you know your body doesn't necessarily need those things. But I found myself this year, every time I had that desire, first thing I thought of was, thank you, Bobby. Because what Marat is saying for the past week or so, all of these things, being tired, being sleepy, being hungry, these are signs or shafars to show you where we fell from. Because in our original state, when Adam was in the garden, he had that glorified state. He didn't know what it was like to be sleepy or hungry or thirsty. So these are signs just to help still remember the Most High when we get older and we wake up and our body already hurt. Man, you got out the bed. That's a sign to let you know, hey, it ain't have to be like this, but because of sin, this is where we at. So all of these things should point back to the Most High, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm Chef.
No, I can hear people.
So the Christian dogma is what we're wrestling with, because and I'm only abreast because I keep fellowshipping, eavesdropping in their channels, and they feel that Christ has fulfilled things, so these feast days are pointless. And that's why we're taking the time to use textual criticism to rip these texts up. And Christ didn't do away with the feast days. Even when he comes back and dwells with us, we got every feast day under the Mosaic covenant. Even the Levites are sacrificing for sins. And that messes Christians up. They can't now this is a prophecy by Ezekiel that he's getting from the Most High, that the sons of Zadok are going to sacrifice burnt offerings. Burnt offerings are for sins. But the previous chapter says the King of Glory is here. And so they can't receive the word of Yah that we're going to sacrifice for sins again, because their dogma says Jesus has done away with sins. And he hasn't done away with sin. When he comes back, that's not our final state where we're sinless and we got our new bodies. We're going to be in his kingdom. So the verse to help them out is Hebrews 9. Hebrews 9:15 says that he came. Let's go there. Hebrews 9:15. It may be have to grab 13 to get context. Let's start at 13 to get context. Go ahead, read it out. You got it?
Test. This is good right here.
Yeah, test out. Let's see if it's on. They're dead. Then it may be done.
Test. All right. The book of Hebrews, Ibarion, chapter 9, verse 13. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of a heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Hamashiach, who through the eternal Ruach offered himself without spot to Elohim, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim.
So what the writer is doing here, the writer is speaking to Israelites who don't know that Yahushua has paused the sins, the offerings. He's only addressing the animal sacrifice. The writer of Hebrews, that's what he's trying to get through to the Hebrew reader. Yahushua's blood is much more precious than an animal, a dumb animal. So that's what he's conveying. He's not conveying that all the Mosaic law is done. He's trying to get them to know you don't have to do this sacrifice anymore, just the animal part. You don't have to do that anymore. Read on.
Verse 15. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament.
Now, I'm going to address this tomorrow when we go into Destroying Christian Dogma, the New Testament edition. Every time these English translators put the word new there, Christian Dogma, the church thinking is, oh, it's something new, meaning different. But in the Hebraic context, we don't use the word new, we use the word kadash. Like when we say the new moon, it's really not a new moon, it's the same moon, it's just being regenerated. So the pagans, the Christians don't understand the culture, so they say new, oh, I got a new covenant, I got a new tongue. Slow down. Slow down. This is a Hebraic book. This is a Hebraic culture. So he's the mediator of a renewed covenant. Read them out.
That by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament.
Slow down. So by means of death, he is the form, or he is the method, he is the mode of redemption for the transgressions that were under the first covenant. So he's paying for the sins that were under the first covenant. So his death didn't do away with that covenant. It resealed or refreshed that covenant, and that covenant came with the feast days. The church is never going to get that because they've been drilled so many times. He paid the cost. He paid the cost. It is finished. It is finished. I'm listening to him today, to the finished works of Christ, but some of these Christians are listening to us. Now some of these Christians are having debates inside their own circles. How can his work be finished if he's coming back? Because when I'm finished, I'm finished. You know how a boxer knocked you out and he just steps over you? Night, night. If Yahushua finished everything, why is he coming back? So his death is the redemption for those who were under the first covenant. So he just paid for the sins for those who were under the first covenant. That means we have another chance to get it right. But that first covenant came with feast days. The church can't receive that. They believe, oh, you can keep those feasts if you want. If you're an Israelite, that's your culture, fine, but they don't lead to salvation. So let me get this straight. Obeying what he told me to do under the contract won't save my life. But you coming up with Valentine's Day and trunk or treat, or what they call it, Hallelujah night, that does lead to salvation. This book is for us. And as long as you're reading this book from a Greco-Roman culture or eyes, you're not going to get that Yahushua just resealed, renewed that first covenant so we can get it right. Because how righteous would Yah be to let our ancestors survive the transatlantic, survive Jim Crow, and not give us a shot? Pop, put me in the game. I'm going to get it right. That's what we're telling him. Pop, put us in the game. We're going to get it right this time.
And I was speaking to the older lady that's at my job. And she kept saying, you know, the completed the law, it's fulfilled, it's done, and all of that. And I was like, well, and I don't know if this my mind, I feel like that example made sense. But I'm like, let's say that we're in a relationship. I tell you what my needs are. If I tell you, I don't like when you talk over me. I don't like when you leave the toilet seat up. I don't like when you do this, you do that. But you complete those things for today. Does that mean that they're home tomorrow? I still have the same exact needs tomorrow. So when she's like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
I'm like, you gotta make this thing this practical. That don't mean that it's done. Oh.
We would need, and this is what we're holding the Christian clergy to, we're holding their feet to the fire. Her example is so perfect because now I want you to show me a text where the Father changed his requirements. I will listen to you. I will put a cross up Sunday and tear all this down. If you can show me text where he says, I don't need this now. This is what I want you to do. Speak in tongues, jump around the church. If you can show me text, I will receive that. They can't show us a text where he changed his mind. They are going to schools and learning Greco-Roman theology and exegeting that he changed his mind. Like I got this one Christian pastor on the hook. It's been 24 hours now. He was going to show me where Jesus is called Yahweh. Because I posted a post on Facebook, Jesus is not God. He didn't say it nor the apostles. And me and him have been, exchanging for about 2 years now. He says, well, if I could show you where Jesus is called Yahweh, would you change your mind? I said, brother, if you could post 2 witnesses where Jesus is called Yahweh, I will retract my post. He says, okay, I'll post soon. Me and Chef checked 8 hours, nothing. Now it's been 24 hours, nothing. You can't post because it's not there. They have been learned to break down scriptures from a Greco-Roman perspective. And that's why they don't understand this. That's why they can't receive this. So, Virg, I hope that answers your question. Christ resealed, he refreshed our covenant, and our original covenant came with feast days. So even when he's here with us, and even when he's on the throne, on David's throne, we're going to have feast days. And he's going to be part of the feast days. That's what the text said. That's what the text said. Any other comments or questions before we move on?
You want me to finish the verse?
Go ahead.
Verse 15. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 15. For this cause he is the mediator of the renewed testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
The letter is written to Hebrews, and then the people under the first covenant were Hebrews and righteous strangers that were attached to us. Somehow the righteous strangers skipped the captivity, but we all God's people. All equal too. Did y'all get that? The strangers who were attached to us, they got to skip the captivity. But now you're telling me we're all God's people. Another question I got out there to the Christian clergy, if there's one covenant, one law for the Israelite and one law for the strangers, why does the curses of Deuteronomy says that when y'all fall and miss it, the strangers that's attached to you, they're going to get above higher than you? Well, wait a minute, if they're supposed to be following the same law, and they're Israel now, and Israel as a nation messed up, why didn't you own these slave ships? Because Daniel was righteous, and Daniel still went to Babylon. The New Testament says Luke and his wife, Elizabeth, were righteous in all the laws, and they still were under Roman authority. So why is this stranger who was living the laws with us in the land, but we as a nation messed up, and now you elevate the stranger, and we're going to the stranger, but we all God's people? Your theology ain't matching up. We need witnesses what you're telling us. That's all we're asking them for. So that's Kapar, and that's the magnitude of this language, and we're going to stand on this language till we get out of here. So the word tazawam, or usually during the week, I just use the Z as the wam, but the full word is tazawam. And what we were all just doing, we were on a path to be joined to the power. We were on a path to be joined to the blood. No matter how you slice this up, the first blood that joined us to the covenant of Yah was the blood of goats. the most recent blood that joins us back to the covenant, the blood of Yahweh. So as we were abstaining from food and liquid these last 24 hours, that's why I said as much as you could, meditate on scriptures. I was at the job, I got a stand-up desk, I was praising and worshiping. Listen, I don't care who's around me, this job is garbage. The Father can call us home any minute now, and I want him to catch me praising and worshiping. So we were all on a path trying to be secure to the power. Most High is power. That makes sense? So the scripture reference for this is just something I had to add, and Most High had to be obedient. Let's go to Hawashai 5:15. Hawashai is Hosea 5:15. Hosea 5:15. And just for context, y'all in the Russian now, I know you're on 8, so I know I got about 10 minutes left. Bird's got some good coffee back there now. Come on now, let's celebrate tonight.
Slakia, what made you decide, or how did you come up with the ta and the za, or the tazah vices the ta and the za to spell his word?
Because the glyphs, if we just put the ta there, the ta is not going to really give you a concrete definition of what fasting is. The ta represents a mark. So if we put the actual ta there, it's not going to make sense. Versus tazawan is someone on a trail, and then the circle means you reach your destination. Like, you know how we all got these maps apps on our phones, and it shows your path, and it shows you your destination. So we were on a path trying to get to a destination. So the taza makes more sense than the ta. And that's a good question, Chef. And that's how you're going to catch these translators in lies, even in their lexicon. The Blue Letter Bible, y'all hear me say it, these pagans think they know our language. I got an exercise tomorrow going to show you why they don't know our language. So when you put different glyphs in, if it don't make sense, try to change their glyphs out. It's like, okay, they used the wrong glyph there. They don't know the language. And I'll show you an example tomorrow for Sharash Ibar. A great question, Chef. So Hawashai 5:15, just for context, I'll read the first 3 verses of the chapter. 5 and 1 through 3 real quick. Wow. Read.
Book of Hosea, chapter 5, verse 1. Hear ye this, O priests, and hearken ye, house of Israel.
Might have to get the wire.
He said, start at verse 1. He said,
Yeah,
start at verse 1.
it seems like that's cracking up. You might have to get the wire, Mike. And we're only going here for context. We're going here for context because we have to do this. We have to keep this in context. That's why we're going to the top. We lost it.
What's the actual? Isn't it bad?
Here's Chef. We're going back to the beginning of the chapter because you just can't cherry pick verses out the middle of a chapter to get understanding. You got it?
Test. There we go.
So let's read Hosea, Hawashi's salvation, deliverance. Chapter 5, verses 1 through 4.
Hear ye this, O priest, and hearken ye, house of Yasha'Allah.
House of who?
Yasha'Allah.
House of who?
Yasha'Allah.
Okay.
And give your ear, or give ye ear, O house of the king, for judgment is toward you, because you have been a snare on Mizpah.
He's talking to the king. The abominations is coming from the royal house.
And a net spread upon Tabar. And the revolters are profound to make slaughter, though I have been a rebuker of them all. I know Ephraim, and Yasha'al is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, you committed whoredom, and Israel is defiled.
The northern kingdom, he's addressing the northern kingdom. Ephraim, y'all supposed to be the head of the nation. Ephraim or Israel, y'all are defiled, right? So we're just getting context here. Verse 4.
Verse 4. They will not frame from their doings to turn to Allahayim, to their Allahayim, for their spirit of whoredoms is in the midst of them, and they have not known Yahweh.
They will not turn from their whoredom. They will not hearken. They are rebellious, stiff-necked. They will not turn from their whoredoms. In context, this whole chapter is talking about Israelites, right? Now let's drop down to verse 14.
Hosea chapter 5 and 14. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. Even I, will tear and go away.
So this is the punishment. Your father says we're supposed to be the lion, meaning fierce fighters. Now the Most High says, I'm about to show you a real lion. I'm about to tear your hides limb to limb. This is the Father talking to us, right?
I will take away, and none shall rescue him. Verse 15. I will go and return to my place until they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
In their what?
In their affliction.
In their what?
In their affliction.
See what we were doing these last 24 hours? We were in our affliction trying to seek him early. Even on our pagan jobs, we still was trying to keep Father at our forefront. So it's like our parents used to say, Gina in the back there, I got to whoop your tail every day to get you to act right. So the Father's saying, because y'all won't willingly love me, I'm giving you the best, best. Everyone envies your land, but because y'all won't do it right, I got to put you in servitude. It's like the nation was like, when they see us being whipped, like, what did y'all do? What did y'all do to make the nations knew this? Like, what did y'all do to make your God mad at y'all? The Father said, I bet you if I afflict you, you'll seek me. Why he got to do this to us? Why do I got to keep you in fire to get you to act right? You should see he did his part first. I brought you out of captivity. I fed you with manna. None of your clothes wore out. I did my part, and now that you're home in this big Mount Zion, and you can look down and your enemies can't come up. Now y'all think y'all king of the hill. Now you don't need me. Parents used to say back in the day, you get a little bit too big for your britches. So the Father got to keep us in affliction just to get us to act right. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. So that's what Tazawam means. We're trying to seek the Father's face during our affliction. Any comments or concerns about that? All right, so let's get into the Tazawah. The Tazawah is a commandment. Let's go to Wayakara, Leviticus 23. We want to give you a witness for everything we do. We don't make up our own feasts. We don't make up our own way of life. Our way of life is to be given to us by the Most High God. Leviticus is Wayakara, and he called, and he called, and he called. Chapter 23, verses 27 through 32. Shema.
Shema.
Read.
Leviticus 23 and 27. Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from amongst his people. And whatsoever soul it shall be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul I will destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
So this is the ordinance when we in our own land and we have what the pagans call sovereignty. Sovereignty means no one's over us. We don't answer to no one anymore. Right now, you don't have sovereignty. You're a slave still. It makes you feel like you're free because they took the shackles off, but you're still a slave. So we're doing the best we can to honor the Father, even those of us who have to punch the clock. You finish that up.
Verse 32. It shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening. shall you celebrate your Shabbat.
So this is another instance. I tell you guys that the Christians and some even Israelites, they don't understand the culture. For whatever reason, they feel it's not necessary. But the word Sabbath here is not indicating a weekly Sabbath. Sabbath means Shabbat means an oath, a covenant. So we have a covenant to do this. No, it's not the seventh day of the week or the weekly Shabbat. We have an oath to do this. And then another point, he says you're going to afflict your soul in the evening, the ninth. We did that yesterday. We started at 6 p.m. And people read this and say, see, an Israelite day starts in the evening. An Israelite day doesn't start in the evening. If it did, he wouldn't have to say the ninth at the evening. He would just said start on the ninth day. This generation would have knew, of course, you're going to start in the evening. That's when the day start. But he had to specify start fasting in the evening. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If a day started in the evening, he wouldn't have to say start the ninth on the evening. So the evening don't start our days. Our days start when the light returns. So I just want to point that out. Any comments or questions about that? All right, so now let's get into the Hebrewism. This is going to go fast. This is just reviews from previous years. So how many people realize that's Baphomet? That's not Baphomet, y'all. Everything they take from the Most High is that's the Most High's goal. Just because they use things for their wickedness, that's a goal. I'm gonna have goats on my property. So you want some goat milk, you come see this. This ain't no Baphomet. But I just knew people was gonna see that, like, oh, that's Baphomet. No, that's a goat. The Most High created that, and this don't mean greatest of all time. This is not the Baphomet. This is the Most High's creature. But let's show you the Hebrewism of what we're doing today. Let's go to Vayakara 16. Leviticus 16, and we're going to start at verse 2. Leviticus 16, chapter 2. Shema. Chapter 16, we're going to start at verse 2. Shema.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, speak unto Aaron thy brother. Test. And then just a little bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And Yahweh said unto Moshe,
Keep going.
speak unto Aharon thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he die not.
He's telling Aaron, tell your brother, or he's telling Moses, tell your brother, don't come before the altar of the holies of holies every day. So every Sunday, y'all was going to church, having an altar call. You don't know the culture. You don't go nowhere near the altar. Even the Levites don't go at the altar every day. Read on. No. Go ahead.
For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Verse 3. Thus shall Aharon come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and he shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are the holy garments.
No black and white collar?
Nope.
No black and white collar, right?
Nope.
Okay, read on.
Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. Verse 6, and Aharon shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before Yahweh at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So he's going to make sure his sins are forgiven, because you can't go asking you to forgive the nation and you ain't actually forgive us for yourself yet. This is how we pray. I will forgive me. So he's setting up the priesthood. Keep going.
Verse 8. Aharon shall cast lots upon the two goats. One lot for Yahweh, and the other lot for the scapegoat.
Keep going.
Verse 9. And Aharon shall bring the goat upon which Yahweh's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh, to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. Aharon shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burnt coals of fire from altar to altar before Yahweh, and his hands full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. He shall put the incense upon the fire before Yahweh, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. Verse 14.
So this is where they get the phrase a scapegoat from. Again, everything in this wicked society comes from our culture.
Verse 14. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Yashar'Allah, and because of their transgressions and all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness.
So this is again destroying Christian dogma over and over again. We could do this for hours. They're telling us that no one can keep the law perfectly, and Yah knew it. God knew it. So that's why he sent his son. It was already built in if you mess up what to do. So he never was asking us to be perfect like the Greco-Roman sense. He knew Adam passed this on to us. So already in the covenant, he already knows we about to run amok. He already knows we're going to get in the land, see all the grapes, see all the beautiful rivers, and we're going to forget about him. So he's already telling us what to do when the children of Israel mess up. Y'all see this?
Right.
This would have the Christian's mind just cartoon. It was already built in. If you mess up, do this. So if you already built it in for my recompense, that means you ain't asking me to be perfect. I press towards the mark. I press. Keep going on.
Verse 17. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Yashar'Allah. And he shall go out unto the altar that is before Yahweh and make an atonement for it, and shall take of the blood of the bullock and of the blood of the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle of the blood upon it with his fingers 7 times, and cleanse it, and hallow it from the uncleanness of the children of Yashar'Allah. And when he hath made an end of reconciling the holy place, and the tabernacle of the congregation, and the altar, he shall bring the live goat, and Aharon shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Yashar'Allah,
Catch this.
and all their transgressions and all their sins.
He's about to lay his hands on the goat, not in that Christian sense, lay hands on it. No, he's just going to put his hands on the goat's head and confess the sins of Israel. Whatever we did, Father, forgive the sins of the children of Israel for their sins. I'm putting this, it's just a spiritual thing, because we know an animal can't carry sins, but this is a metaphor. So put the sins of Israel for the whole year onto this goat, read on.
Putting them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness.
By the hands of a fit man, someone in shape. Get up Virgil from the house of Manasseh. That's the big strong brother. Get him to carry the goat out. You see that? Keep going.
Verse 22. And the goat shall bear upon him all their lawlessness unto a land not inhabited.
So this goat is going to be led away outside the city, and this goat is just going to wander into a land not inhabited. Go ahead, get him mic. No, that one's not. That was on. Give him a mic, y'all.
Test. Test.
I was just gonna say real quick, how earlier you was teasing us about what that goat represents, and I feel it's really crazy that the Ish people who we know own the music, they take that goat and celebrate it because they want to celebrate this goat because it represents sin to them, so they want to honor it, and that's what they're doing. It's like right in front of our face, they taking our script, take that goat that our people say send off is represents sin. They worship that goat because they love that lawlessness and the sin. So that's just crazy.
Say that again from the beginning.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, it's just that we know that the Ish people run music, and they have all our people using that symbol, that goat that we put the sin on. They say, no, let's bring that goat back and worship that goat because it represents sin and lawlessness. And that's just crazy that's right in our face.
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard that phrase, do as thy will?
Do as thou wilt,
Aleister Crowley. That's what that goat represents. All our lawlessness and disobedience. Most High says, I'm going to spare y'all. I'm going to just let this goat represent y'all. And like you said, this wicked people praise all the time. Like, powerful, man. You see these Hebrews just pop off the page out. The water for that. That's powerful. Where we at?
Finishing on verse 22.
So this goat is going to go. This goat that's laden down with our sins is going off into a strange land away from Israel. Read on.
Verse 22 from the top. And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities unto a land not inhabited, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness.
So y'all seen the parallel yet? Those who've been around, you can see the parallel. Messiah on the cross, he was taken outside the city. And then when he gave up the ghost, he went into a land uninhabited. Where did he really go? Inside the earth. Y'all see these parallels? Inside the earth is not really inhabited because there's nothing built. So he went inside the earth where the old generations were to preach to them that I have restored the nation. You guys are going to live again. You see these parallels? He went to a nation not inhabited, a land not inhabited.
Yeah, he took all the sin on him.
More Hebrewism. Let's go to Yakazak. Yakazak, the papers turn to Ezekiel. Yakazak. Yah has helped. Yah has strengthened. Yes, Yahweh Shai didn't go to heaven. The Christians teach us that he went to heaven when he gave up the ghost. And the verse they believe proves he went to heaven because he told the crook, because the crook, at the last moment, the crook believed on him. And the crook says, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And the text got Yahweh Shai saying, because this day, because you just acknowledged me, you will be with me in paradise. So the Christians say, see, he went to heaven. But when he resurrected, he told Mary, don't touch me because I ain't been to heaven.
Got him.
You see how they don't understand? So when he told that crook that, he was speaking in a future tense. Because of your faith, when I do get my kingdom, bro, I'm going to take you with me. But he didn't go to his kingdom or even back to his father's kingdom when he gave up the ghost. He went into the belly of the earth to preach to Noah's in them generation. Y'all be patient a little while. Y'all little brothers about to go through hell on earth, but I'm coming back. I'm going to restore everything. So he didn't go to heaven. He went to the belly of the earth, a land not inhabited. They don't understand this text.
Pretty much saying like because of what you confess or ask for today, you pretty much your mark has been set, your path has been set.
Right.
Not that we about to go up there together. It's just like your decision and the outcome has been made for you today, but it'll play out later.
Because of your acknowledgement right now that I am the one. When I do get my kingdom, you're going to be in there. Chef, you got a comment in there? I can't. It's going to be too much if I pull it up now.
No, you good.
Okay. So let's get another Hebrewism. I'm just going to be a spoiler alert. Let's get to it. It's all pointing to Yahushua. Everything we do, every feast is pointing to Yahushua. That's why he told them people, I come in the volume of the book. After his resurrection, he says, let me show you me through the prophets. And it says he began to explain to them beginning at the prophets. The prophets come alive when you learn this language and you see Yahushua everywhere. Everywhere.
Thank you.
Let's go to Ezekiel or Yakazak. Yakazak chapter 22 verse 30.
Shema.
Ezekiel 22 and 30. We brought this out before. Read.
And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none.
So this is another Hebrewism. The Most High is telling Ezekiel, I look for a man of Israel to stand in the gap, to be a hedge for the people, but I found none. So who had to become and be that man standing in the gap? Who came to be that hedge? He's all over our book. So if you don't believe in Yahushua as the one, please show me your historical figure from Israel who fit this. Y'all still waiting on y'all Messiah to come restore Israel? Bro, you gotta listen. I think we better start popping off because y'all got a long way to go. If you're still waiting on your Messiah to come do something, y'all gotta, we're like at, if I had to guess, we may be 25, 50 years. I'm praying tomorrow we out of here, but those who don't accept Yahushua as your Messiah, where's your character? Where's your Messiah who's going to disrupt the nation? Where's your Messiah? Our king came and he disrupted the nation. He divided the nation. Half was saying, nah, he ain't the one. Other half was like, bro, y'all ain't been doing none of this.
They still talking about
Well, see right here, Moses said, Mr. Pharisee, listen, I see your Teflin and all this. This man just raised 10 people in one day. You can't heal your son. Mr. Pharisee, tell me why he ain't the one. This man came and divided the nation. And then he was so powerful, even the heathens had to say, that was the Son of God. Come on, man. Who you waiting on? Who you waiting on? This man, I am him. I am him. So Ezekiel 22 and 30 is another Hebrewism that Yahushua came to stand in the gap for us. So we brought this out before during a couple Pesachs. It just befitting because atonement, someone standing in the gap for us, someone covering our sins. It all makes sense. From cover to cover, this book is about us, and cover to cover, this book has Yahushua in it. Let's go to Joshua 5 verses 1 through 9. Joshua 5 verses 1 through 9.
Shema.
Read.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. That's Isaiah. That's Yahshua.
I'm sorry, you're right. Navari's right, that eagle eye. I should have put Yahushua up there. Navari got that eagle eye. He's right. So I didn't want Isaiah, I wanted Joshua.
Okay.
So it should have been Yahushua up there.
Where we going at, right?
Joshua chapter 5. He's right.
I was looking at
There's a form of the same name. Like Yashayah and Yahushua is the same name. Just different formula of Yah's salvation. But he's right. I wanted Joshua this time. I wanted Yahushua.
Okay. Shema.
Joshua chapter 5, verse 1. Read.
The book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse 1. And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that Yahweh had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Yashar'allah, until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was their spirit in them anymore.
So water was a good barrier and gave nations sort of like little confidence. Yeah, I see the Israelites coming, but they can't cross this Jordan. By the time they cross this Jordan, our men will be ready and set up. Now they're like, yo, their God just dried up the Jordan.
Let's go.
It's getting back to the kings like, say what? Yeah. Joshua just crossed the Jordan with the Israelites.
How did you get across? They walked.
Goodness. That's the power of this text. So now the kings are hearing their power just dried up the Jordan, and anyone in this area is like, the Jordan dried up? That's like us hearing the Atlantic dried up.
Yeah.
That's how these people are like, what?
That's oof.
It's about to go down. Read on.
Yeah. It's on the other side. Yeah. It's kind of like way away from that.
Y'all can't see?
No, they're just saying. We was just talking about the Euphrates River. I was telling them it's way away.
Oh,
from that.
yeah.
It's on the east of that.
Yeah.
Want me to keep going around?
Yeah, read on.
Okay. Neither was their spirit in them any more because of the children of Israel. Verse 2. At that time, Yahweh said unto Yahushua, make thee sharp knives and circumcise again the children of Israel.
Well, no one, let me be obedient. Go back and read that verse again.
Starting at verse 1.
No, the one just before that verse, before make sharp knives.
Neither was their spirit in them anymore.
Did y'all catch that? Read that out.
Neither was their spirit in them anymore because of the children of Israel.
God. Their heart's gone. We just took their heart. We ain't even swung yet.
Yeah.
We ain't even swung a blow yet, and there's like,
They don't want to fight no more.
Shook once.
They don't want to fight no more.
General, I want to use a sick day today. This is the power of Yah. He's going to put this back on our generation. So I'm getting in shape, but we ain't going to have to do too much. The angels of Malachi is going to come mop these people up, and we just going to be walking with our fringes, and they just, like, you know how that man did on Peter Popoff with his jacket? We're going to do that for real. It's like the Israelites are coming. That's why we take your name, make them call you by Yah's name. Read on out.
Verse 2. At that time Yahweh said unto Yahushua, make these sharp knives and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time. And Yahushua made him sharp knives and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins.
I think it's going to be a third time, so get ready. I think it's going to be a third time, yo.
Hey, keep reading, man.
Keep reading. Keep going, y'all.
Verse 4. And this is the cause why Yahushua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt, Matazariah, that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way, after they came out of Matazariah. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Matazariah, them they had not circumcised.
So we shouldn't made it out the wilderness. For them not circumcising the boys, those 40 years in the wilderness, he should have killed us then. That's grace. What do you mean grace showed up with Jesus? That's great. He let that whole generation make it out the wood. You should have been, it said the man who don't circumcise his son is cut off. And he let them live.
On the 8th day. So
On
that
the
means on the
8th
8th day, you should have been dead right there.
On the 9th day.
On the 9th day.
On the 9th day, you should have been dead. 40 years, he let them keep complaining kept giving them manna. He ain't had the obligation to do nothing. That's grace, family. Read on out.
Verse 6. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh.
So he charged the adults with it. The children were blameless, like you and I. Ate pork chops to you, belly was full. Come on, Verge, you know. Yes, sir. He had mercy on us because we the children. They don't know no better. But those parents, y'all out of here. Y'all not coming out. This is what we're living right now. Man, keep going, Bob.
Once again, just a quick comment. This is why you got to be hard on your kids, even over here. It might not, it might seem unfair according to this country's ways, but the Most High is holding the parents responsible how these children are being raised. So for everybody that's bowing your sons and daughters' neck down early and humbling them to the Most High's ways, the Most High sees all this stuff. So that's just a quick comment. But because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, unto whom Yahweh sware that he would not show them the land, which Yahweh sware unto their fathers, that he would give us a land that floweth with milk and honey. Verse 7. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Yahweh shall circumcise, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole, or healed, right? Okay. Verse 9. And Yahweh said unto Yahushai, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Matazariam from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Galal, or Galgal, unto this day.
It's no coincidence that Yahushai, son of Nawan, or son of Nun, Joshua, son of Nun, his name is Yah is salvation. He brings that generation into Canaan. He circumcised them, that generation who were he circumcised those boys, and then he says, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt off of y'all. When you look at these maps, countries sink into the water, countries are traded hand to hand from conquering kingdoms, but the power of Yah, most of the rivers are still in the same location. So when you're looking at old maps, try to find the rivers first. Like we say the Euphrates and all that, try to find the rivers, and because the names of the cities and countries may have changed. So you see on this map, this is Joshua's generation, and you see the red arrow is at Gilgal, and you see that river there. And this is where Yahushai, Joshua, the son of Nun or Nawan, he circumcised that generation, and Yah says, now you have rolled away the reproach. You have rolled away the reproach. I'm no longer angry with y'all. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27. Matthew chapter 27. Matthew 27, verse 31. Shemai. Matthew 27, verse 31. Read.
The book of Matthew 27, verse 31. And after that, they had mocked him. They took the robe off from him, and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross.
They found a strong man, because Yahushua has been whipped and beat all night. You had him up all night interrogating him, torturing him. So now he's tired and beat down. I find this Israelite coming out, carry his cross for him. Y'all see that? This is not a coincidence. So again, for you to say he's not the one we're waiting on, show me your man who fits this character. Show me your historical figure who someone wrote about that this happened to. Because we got other nations saying that they were there. We got Roman soldiers writing about him. Now they didn't believe in him, but they would write something like, well, the Judeans crucified this man that many thought was their king. That's a stamp that our records are true. So all you say he's not the one, and yeah, he was a great figure, but he was not the one the prophets talked about. Show me your guy who's fitting this bill. They beat him all night. Now they're about to walk him outside the city. They're about to walk him outside the city, and they get this strong man. Hey, come here, Israelite, Hebrew. This man beat down, carry his cross for him. Come on, y'all. Read on, Ak.
Verse 33. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull. That's 33 right there.
So this is another red herring. These people don't know the culture. These New Testament translators said, oh, the place was called Golgotha, and I believe in their language, it means the place of a skull. And they even got an image you can Google. They try to show the mountain from a long shot, and the mountain, like if you squint and close your eye, it looks like the mountain has a skull. It's not a skull. These translators don't know Hebrew. The same place where they took Yahushua, it was Galgal. They took him to Galgal. Hold your peace. They took him to Galgal and they killed him. And just like the first Joshua rolled our reproach away, he rolled our reproach away. It's not a coincidence. That's why you got to learn your language and study. He is the one. His blood made an atonement to remove the reproach off of us. Go ahead, Ab.
Just to support you too, with the language, even in the Septuagint, it calls the place Galgala, Galgala. So it's if this is the oldest, why would they even change it from this to KJV or from this to the New Testament? You see what I'm saying?
These coincidences are too strong. The first man's name was Yahushua, and he circumcised the children of Israel, and their blood removed the reproach. This second Yahushua shed his own blood, and it removed the reproach.
Man, I just want to praise the Most High. I'm just so thankful to be here getting this fresh manna. And I just wanted to say, as you just read the other verse with finding the Hebrew to carry the cross, it was this video I watched. I think it was John MacArthur. I could be wrong, but it was a huge white pastor who was talking to the congregation, and everybody was giving him clout because he said, see, black folk, you are found in the Bible. And he was talking about the man who carried the cross for the Messiah. He said that was the only time we were even in the Bible. And then he said, so what was it, him and Judas. You know what I mean? It was like he made it sound like we had this cameo. Yeah, like we only had that cameo appearance. And I'm just like, wow, man, look how much we lose sitting up under that type of leadership, not even seeing ourselves in the script. So I'm just thankful. And I just wanted to say that because I remember that video. And it's crazy. That's our book, and he's trying to tell us that. See, we got a little part, you know what I mean? A little quick snippet in there.
So you mean to tell me that this one Israelite is carrying the cross because he's a servant, and he's black, but the one who says he's the king of Judah, he's white.
Yeah.
Sketch that up for me, please. And let you know these people are sick. Our people are sick. You ask them, no, I know God ain't done with Israel, but y'all ain't Israel. Well, who's Israel? I don't know. You don't know who Israel is, but you know it's not me. Wow. Can't be y'all. Because if it's us, all your years of seminary training, all your certificates, all your tuition money, all your hotel flights to Zimbabwe, meaningless. So y'all can't be the one. So this is gal gal in our language, and the gal, that G sound is the foot, and the la sound is the shepherd staff. So gal gal is your with your foot you move, and the shepherd staff you lead things. So gal gal, Joshua, Yahushua the son of Nun, and Yahushua son of Yah, they removed the reproach off of us. One used the circumcision, the blood of the people. The second one used his own blood to remove our reproach. Atonement, Kapar.
Just to put more to what you're saying, Yahweh Shaiban Nawan, just like we had brought out a little while ago, the word Nawan means perpetually or to replant.
Right.
So Yahweh Shai, son of Nun, or Nawan, he recircumcised that generation that wasn't circumcised to restore. And Yahweh Shai restored us by shedding his blood. So
it's not a coincidence, family. This thing is for us, by us. Everything about this text is for us, by us. Any questions about gal gal? Those online, you want to unmute yourself? I think I'm about to mess something up. So to bring this home, family, let's go to Mark chapter 16. Mark chapter 16, verse 3. Gal gal, to remove this reproach, to roll away the reproach. Mark 16, verse 3.
Shema.
Mark 16 and 3. Read.
Book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 3. And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stones?
What did they say, What did they say, Go.
And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stone?
Here's the sisters going to do our ritual, our customs. We don't embalm. We don't stick people with needles and suck all their blood and fluid out. That's pagan. We go to our dead and we wrap them in honey and spices to preserve their bones. Because we know there's a resurrection. They're going to need that body. And even though the bones are dried up, just dried blood still can. So we don't suck the blood out and drain it down a pan and embalm them with all kind of. So the sisters are coming to anoint him, to smear him down in our culture. And they says, who's going to roll away this heavy stone? And y'all know the story, the Malachiim already came, because when he rolled away the stone and said he was risen, the reproach was going off our people.
It's like the Muslims, that's how my cousin, when she passed away, it's kind of eerie, but they just wash her down. They have one person that is responsible for making sure she's clean, and then they just put them in the ground. They just put like a canvas over her body, and yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
Well, it's crazy because we don't know the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
For the smell as well, though?
Yeah, the honey and the ointments keep the smell down, but y'all went here. We don't go visit graves. We don't go visit graves and sit at grandma's feet and, oh, Nan, I miss you. You're defiled. They're asleep. She can't hear you. So all that going to graves and putting flowers, that's your mom don't know about no flowers. She's out of here. So once we put you in a tomb, you get anointed with oils and spices to slow down the decay, but no one's going back out there to see you out. We won't come to one of your sons come out and then this is your family's tomb. This is your family's little burial site. And all your family's in there with you in different boxes. So it's just, we can go on forever. So the angel had already came and rolled away the stone. Let's finish that up.
Verse 4. And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment. and they were affrighted. He saith unto them, Be not affrighted. You seek Yahweh Shai of Natazarah, which was crucified. He is risen.
He is what?
He is risen.
He is what?
He is risen.
Hallelujah.
He is not here. Behold, the place where they laid him. But go your way, tell his disciples in Kapar that he goeth before you into Galilee or Galilee. There shall you see him, as he said unto you.
So, family, this whole day, this whole feast gives honor to the Father, and we're giving honor to the Father by the blood, physical blood of his Son. His Son has removed the reproach off of us. So no, like Hezekiah saying that lyric he got, it may not be perfect, but we keep on our culture. We may have to go to work today, we may have a raggedy building, but we're keeping our culture. So we praise Yah for this day of atonement, for a whole day that he wipes our slates clean, and we can get it right again. Yom Kapar.
So I've been studying some of the language, and this is like a question before I make this statement. The ka, the hand, as y'all see, I got my hand up. Can the ka mean to exalt or to lift up?
Yeah, you would check the context of the speaker, because just like, and we're going to bring this out more with the New Testament class, just like all of us come from different regions, sometimes in the same city, a street can have different words for something. Like the South Side will use this word, but when you go over to the East Side, they use another word. So you always want to check the context of that speaker, check that whole sentence. And just like all of us, we ain't slow. You know the tone is being used. You know the phraseology. You check the facial expressions. You go somewhere, what's popping? You know right away if that's a friendly greeting or if that's a like you're on the wrong side of town. So you just check that context of how they're using that cop.
The reason I was asking that is I was looking at that word kapar, to exalt the word of Yah. Kapar.
Yeah, it's again, these writers of the, how to say this, the original autographs from Moses to Ezekiel to Micah, they're years apart. They're years apart. So they could be using a word in a different context now. So you got to check the context of the speaker. You got to, and that's why I say put it back in the glyphs. And if the glyphs like, if you can't really distinguish the glyphs, like that don't sound right. That ain't making out how this sentence being used. The translators either used the wrong word or that generation changed the meaning of the, like when we brought out about the Bible, the Masoretic text. Masoretic texts come from a Hebrew word Masorah. Well, originally Masorah mean bondage, but those Masoretes in the 900s, 1000s, they said Masorah means tradition. So everyone in their generation think Masorah is just tradition, but if Mashin was here, you just put feathers on the Most High's word. So that's what I mean. You got to check the context of the speaker. Any comments or questions about Kapar? Somebody give Sister Mike.
I don't know if I missed this or not, but could those glyphs also mean the hand that circumcises the man? That little, did you already say that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Y'all see that? Y'all understand? He's traced around their organ to circumcise them. You see how I can go on and on and on? Y'all see that? That's our culture. Somebody get a Most High hand clap. That's our culture. I didn't see that. Didn't see that till now. Very well. Very well. All praise to the Most High. Any other comments or questions? So, fam, I thank you all for, I know it was a work day for most of us. I know it was late. Give the Most High hand clap for all the food, fellowship. Justin came all the way from Raleigh to be with us tonight. We're rocking Most High for that. it's still early for most of you, but it's getting close to my bedtime. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I ain't gonna hold you. We will be here tomorrow at 12 noon, if you can make it out. Tomorrow will be a regular Shabbat class. We're gonna just, I was trying to delay this and I was trying to get everything nice and organized, but last night or the last 2 nights, most time we're gonna start Destroying Christian Dog, the New Testament edition tomorrow. And we're gonna start with Hika Mohanta. He's coming on. Hika! We're gonna dig into the text to show you how many tongue talkers in here. Anybody ever spoken tongues? Any tongue talkers? Yes, sir. I did. I spoke in tongues one time. I ain't gonna lie. I spoke in tongues. I spoke in tongues before. I was at the house and I was like, Father, just give me the gift of speaking in tongues. And I'm